18th of August, 1839. Tonight, we will unlock the power of the orb and ultimately banish the shadow hunting me. I feel it closing in on me, and I fear for my life more than ever. Just outside Altstadt lies a small settlement where Zimmerman, a dairy farmer, lives with his wife and 3 children. We took the coach and went there. Our visit was unexpected, and Alexander was able to strike Zimmerman down without alerting the others. As he went to take care of the farmhands, I began to look for the children. We should have more than enough prisoners to finish the ritual now.
Oh? Oh. Ah. See, ordinarily someone might be like, you know, why didn't Daniel kind of realize that Alexander was fucked with him? But like, if you were being haunted by the shadow, would you really even care to a degree? Like, would you not fall for it maybe? I don't know. It's my thing. Liar's tonic. Alright, Agrippa.
I thought I lost you. The castle trembled and I could hear the chancel collapse. The laboratory might be accessible now.
It is. Oh. Why the fuck not?
Quickly, off with the head!
Off with the head.
And then, whatever happens, get me through that gate.
Off with the head? How do I cut your head off? Holy shit. Fuck. That would be how.
You should hurry, Daniel. No time for sitting around.
I know. Ugh. Is that it? I guess that's it. Alright. Well, I think that's enough for one day. Alright. Back to the chancel. And I know the chancel is going to be totally different from this time. From the first time, it collapsed. She cried and struggled as he pulled at her arm. Her flowered Sunday dress ripped and she fell into the mud. Oh shit. So how are things now in here? The shadow is mostly taken over? I already hear stuff. Fuck. Still? Huh. Maybe this place doesn't change much. Huh. about... Didn't realize that would work that well, but it worked well. So it turns out there's some shit I missed over here.
10th of August, 1839. I cannot believe what I have become. One of the girls escaped and I chased after her all the way upstairs. I hunted her down, and what is a life worth? How many lives can I take before I surrender my own? Sure, I would kill a murderer to save an innocent, but to kill an innocent to save myself? A cold-blooded murderer.
And that's when he realizes. Book of tar. Sticky tar, which is to make sure these things all stick together. Gotcha. Fuck. Let me guess. Yep. Actually, before I do that, if it weren't for Alexander, he would still be innocent and be able to die so. Inner sanctum. Alright. This is the finale.
August 1839. It's not fair. I'm not to blame. I've been manipulated by that demon. He played my guilty conscience and duped me into facing the shadow alone. That vile, conspiring man. He expects me to meet my death as he steals power beyond imagination. Alexander, I will kill you for what you have done. If only the shadow had caught me in London or Algeria, I wouldn't have to suffer this humiliation. You made me a murderer, a monster. And now, I merely await my death. I am too weak to press on. I can hardly stand as my knees fail me. I cannot see as my eyes are dressed in tears. I am as broken as the men I've tortured. If only I could wipe my fear away, as we did with them.
And that's exactly what you do. Want to fucking die pretty soon. Come on, Daniel, you can do it. Here we go. Oh. He had turned angry. It was easy to take her insolence and made her the villain in the story. But she didn't deserve to die. Even he could see that. So this then is the finale.
I was wondering if you were going to show up. I see Agrippa convinced you to
That's
run
him.
some errands. Tell me, is everything nice and clear now? Am I the villain? Good and evil. Such comforting concepts, but hardly applicable. Are you so blind that you see no good in me or evil in Agrippa?
What about another one? This one. Oh! There we go. Yes, do that.
realize you doubt my intentions. Why would I take such extreme measures to save your life? Maybe I'm saving mine too.
Fuck your life.
Stop it, Daniel. You are ruining it. We are so close, I beg you.
Fuck you.
I'm just like you, Daniel. Killed us. You killed us both.
Now he's dead. What about me?
It was my greatest triumph, and I never looked back.
As I look back. Is this it? What about Agrippa?
You think I was afraid, fleeing Brennenburg? Huh. Quite the contrary. I knew it was my purgatory, hellfire made to wash away my sins. There's no denying the things I've done, but I have paid my tribute. I gave them that awful man. I did the right thing.
It doesn't really justify your actions. Oh. Well, I guess fuck Agrippa then. Well, that was a bittersweet ending. Now, I guarantee you these credits are not going to last for as long as my entire review, so let me go ahead and skip them real quick. Because they're not going to last, I guarantee you. The end.
her home. But you... No, you fool! You have ruined us!
Oh.
There he is. Do you see him, Vaya? He deserves so much more. Please, help him. I know you can.
Huh.
Don't worry, Daniel. It will be all right.
Alright, so this game's done. So, what are my thoughts on it? Well, I'm going to do this the same way with Soma, where I go by gameplay, atmosphere, and story. And since it's the easiest one, I will start... Well, actually, the easiest one is really gameplay. I'll start with gameplay. So, the gameplay in this was better than the gameplay in Soma. In both games, you walk around your environment, and well, that's like the main part of it. But the puzzles, the main thing about it, what makes the gameplay better to me, is that the enemies seem more threatening, and the fact that there's an inventory. Now, inventory management is never a thing, because you have enough slots to where you never run out, even with the 6 orb pieces. But using the different items makes it more immersive, and it also gives you better versatility with puzzles. Because with Soma, there were lots of puzzles, but they all had to do with things inside the environment, whereas with this game, you would pick up an item and who knows where you might need to use it. That's one thing that this game has over Soma. Soma's only downgrade, I gave it a 9.8 out of 10. Soma's only downgrade was its gameplay. That doesn't exist here. This gameplay is perfect, as far as I'm concerned. Next one is atmosphere. The atmosphere is amazing. I'm not going to touch over this too much because I've already pretty much gone over everything during the game, which is that I think it's awesome that the darkness itself was basically made to be an enemy. The sanity mechanic was amazing. Just the whole brooding thing. The main menu gets you right into it, so you hit the ground running with it. And then throughout the game, like even areas, like, okay, here's one part of it too. In Soma, I know I'm comparing this to Soma a lot, but it's all fictional games. In Soma, areas with no enemies were not horror. They were still good. They still had good storytelling behind it. In fact, that's Soma's strongest suit, is its narrative. They were still strong because of its narrative, but they weren't horror. In this game, even in areas where there are no enemies, it's still pure horror. This game's atmosphere was amazing in every sense of the word. And this is probably going to be a short review, but mostly just because of the fact that I've already played through. I mean, I've already discussed most of these things, so I feel like discussing it more would be redundant. Oh yeah, I'll address this too. Why am I at the pause menu, right? Because normally when I do this shit, I do it at the main menu. Well, because the main menu music is so goddamn loud that I'm pretty sure it's better this way where it's silent to hear me better. That's why. So the last one is this, the story. This is where it falls behind Soma. Don't get me wrong, this game is a good story. In fact, it's a really good story. Like, you know, the whole thing, you know, Daniel, he sits there and he uncovers this shadow in this tomb that he was going into, and then he ends up getting into contact with Alexander. They do all this horrific shit in order to get the shadow off him, but it was really another thing. Alexander had the ulterior motive, the whole deal. I know this game's story. Like, the story is really good. It's really dark. It's really brooding. It's really fucked up. It's really bleak. But there's one problem. The ending does not hit it home. Soma's ending was amazing. There was like a good ending and a bad ending, and they were both the same at the same time. You had one good, the good part, the bad part. The ending in Soma paid off big time. Because you know that one Simon is fucked and the other one is good to go for thousands of years, even though there's just their consciousnesses. In this game, you go through the whole thing and then you end up in this room with Alexander, who's like a specter of sorts. And then you take down the pillars and the game ends, or you throw Agrippa's head in the portal and the game ends. You see what I'm saying? The ending is bittersweet, I guess. No, I don't know if bittersweet. It's not. It doesn't fulfill expectations, and I have a theory as to why. Here's why I think that is. Because the fact that the entire narrative is focused entirely on the past. This game's story has nothing to do with the present. Its entire story is about the past, which is mostly fun considering the fact that it revolves around amnesia. You're uncovering what happened in your past, and you're atoning for your sins by killing Alexander. But like, I think what's missing from it is that there's nothing for the present at all. And I feel like that's the main thing that makes the ending fall flat to me. So that's my issue with it. The story itself is really, really good. But the fact that it's entirely predicated around the past is a downfall for it. That's the main thing there. So, here's the worst part about it too. Before the very ending, I was ready to give this game a perfect score. All around. Because like, here's the thing, Soma is not a perfect game because not every aspect of it is perfect. Its story and atmosphere are, but its gameplay is not. This game I was going to give a perfect score. I can't do that here either because the story fell short a little bit. I'll give this story like in fact, the story had such a shortfall because because the fact that there's nothing for the present and therefore the ending falls short, that I'm going to have to give this game probably a 9 out of 10. Lower than Soma. Here's a funny thing though. As a horror game, this game is better than Soma. In fact, I will say this. Not only as a psychological horror game, but also just as a horror game in general. This game is the best horror game I've ever played. Bar none. And I have played some damn good ones. I played Outlast and Whistleblower. Those are damn good ones. I played Alien Isolation, which the first like 40% of that game is fantastic, but then the other 60% is a shitload of fuck, which is why I can't put it higher. But that game was good too. The first like third of it isn't fantastic. This game beats all of them. It beats Soma as well. So that's pretty much my spiel on every aspect. I've compared it to a degree to Soma. I'll give the game an A. Because the story falls short a little bit at the end. And yeah, I think it's about it for this review. Nothing major. It was actually pretty short. Mostly because a lot of the stuff I had to talk about I already talked about earlier on in the game. So, you know, why bother? And the new stuff is already out there. So, what's going on in the future? I mean, you know, if I have any, I'm going to give myself 10 seconds. If I have anything else to say, I'll say it now. Okay, I either just had a lot more to say, or I didn't. Either way, who cares? Now, well, I'll care if I do it. So what's in the future? Well, there's a spin-off for this called Amnesia Justine. I have no idea what the game's about, but I will be doing that next. Like the very next thing is going to be the spin-off. It's going to be short. It's only like an hour long. It's going to be short, so I had no problem doing that one. And then after that, there's also this one called Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs. I am not going to be doing that one. Reason why is because what really sold me on Amnesia in the first place, I was going to do Amnesia, but what really sold me on this game in the first place was how good Soma was. And Soma was made by Frictional Games. Justine is made by Frictional Games. A Machine for Pigs was not made by Frictional Games. So I honestly don't care for it. Besides, people on the internet, like, people say that this game is one of the best horror games, if not the best horror game ever made. I agree 100%. They also say that A Machine for Pigs blows, which is probably true, but regardless, it wasn't made by Frictional Games, so I have no interest in it. So what about after Amnesia Justine? Well, as you can guess, there is another game that just came out recently called Amnesia Rebirth by Frictional Games, so I'm going to be doing that one as well. So, and I don't know anything about Amnesia Rebirth either, although I do a little bit of research into games before I play them, but I go in mostly blind. So Justine will be next. After that will be Rebirth. So that's the plan for now. And well, yeah, that's about it. So this has been Amnesia: The Dark Descent, the best horror game I've ever played in my life. And I'm gonna have to interject something real quick here. Best horror game, not best game ever. I put Soma as number 5 as the 5th best game I've ever played in general. I can't put Soma on that. Soma's not one of the best games I've ever played, but it is the best horror game I've ever played. So, those are my accolades for it. This has been Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Next will be Amnesia Justine. And that's it. Signing off. Have a good day. See you at Justine. This new menu is so loud.